Hi, I'm Michael Gilbert, a local attorney, and what you're about to watch is pretrial. Now, pretrial is the third court event in the process towards resolving a criminal case. The first was first appearance, the next was arraignment. Now we have pretrial to determine if the case is ready to proceed to docket day and potentially trial, or if it can't be worked out through plea or even dismissed. At pretrial, though, facts are not as important as they are in other hearings. In this case, it's procedural. The judge is going to bring in their entire docket to make sure that the attorneys are doing what they need to do to get the cases towards a just conclusion. Some of the cases you'll see are older, some are newer. On the older ones, you may see some tension as the judges are trying to make sure the cases are moving forward, but the stakes are getting high. So that's what pretrial is. Let's go see what happens.
It's the same question he just asked.
Was there, I know there's one that's been sent about, was there other ones that I missed? So it wasn't just.
Just send him an email on that.
Okay. And you're saying the today is not Thursday, which is on Thursday?
Yeah. Docket days on.
How do we look at documenting that for?
Yeah, unless for some reason the case goes straight to jury review, this by jury indictment.
All rise, please. Circuit Court is back in session. Please be seated.
So we'll continue. Mr. Harper, you want to continue with your cases?
If I can start on 123 on the docket, Cameron Haynes. He is present and approaching. He's before the courts on 22 CF 1416 and 22 CF 3159. Judge, the state and I have come to an agreement. One of the outstanding issues had been restitution. That issue had been addressed since our last court date. This will be a PTI. We'll bring it back on docket day. We'll have the documents filled out and he'll sign it again.
Okay, so you just want to, for today, just continue to docket day for resolution?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's fine.
So docket day is next Monday, 6/19 at 9 a.m.
The next judge is Alan James, but I showed that he's an inmate.
We didn't have him listed as an inmate, but we'll check that. If it is, we can just move on. I say that we checked all those.
I do show he is on this minute sheet. Did you contact
Okay.
the again?
No, I'm not. If I was intending to just move him to Wednesday, Judge.
I don't have a problem with that, but I don't think he's in jail. Because we checked the whole docket to see if anybody was in jail. But we could be, he could have gotten in and over the weekend, we didn't check it. Or can we confirm it somewhere?
Alan James.
Let's go Alan J.
Who's handling this for the state? Can you check? Can you look at it? Yeah.
Alfred.
You're not open, no.
Alfred.
Alan Alfred, yeah.
He is in jail.
If we can just move him to
He is in
Wednesday.
jail?
Yes,
Yeah, Alan Alfred James
Booked
was
on May
on. He was
13th.
here this morning. We transported by accident because they transported 3. We
Okay.
sent him back so that he can come back with us.
It looks like he's under a sentence for violation of injunction.
Okay, so we'll continue this till 6/14 at 9 a.m.
And on the same note, Marie McKay is also an inmate that was on today that needs to be on.
Is that Mr. Harper's?
Yes, McKay.
McKay?
McCoy.
McCoy. Okay, we'll continue that one as well. That's 23 CF 1033.
Yes, sir.
We'll continue that to the 14th as well. Okay, thank you.
Judge, the next one I have is Jeremy Knox for the court on 22 CF 47. There should be a waiver of appearance in his case. Judge, can we bring him back on docket day for a possible plea to resolve this case?
Sure. We'll come back on 6/19 at 9 a.m.
Thank you, Judge. The next one I have is Luis Marler. Number 126 on the docket, he's present and approaching. He's before the court on 22 CF 2393. Judge, my client brought up an interesting issue this morning that I think that I can resolve by reviewing the body cam at a specific time frame. This will be resolved by plea on docket day. I just need to know whether or not that issue exists. If so, it might change the terms and length of the plea, but this will be resolved on 6/19, Judge.
Okay, so we'll come back on docket day 6/19 at 9 a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
Next one, Judge, is Marlon Marshall. There should be a waiver of appearance on file. The state has conveyed a misdemeanor offer, Judge. I'd like to resolve it. I just need to get him in for a plea. If I can leave the set for clear to continue on docket day.
The state would be fine with that.
Okay, we'll continue this to docket day 6/19 at 9 a.m.
Judge, the next one I have is Logan McPherson. There is also a waiver of appearance in this case. Judge, this is a case that's kind of dragged on a bit. There is a waiver of appearance in this case. My client resides in California. The state has extended a misdemeanor offer, which I've advised him to take. He's a little bit opposed to that. So in an abundance of caution, to sort of get closure on this cycle, I'd like to leave the set for clear trial. And if he does not if he does not provide me a written plea agreement to the terms provided by the states, then we'll ask for his appearance on docket day to get ready for trial, Judge.
Okay. Docket day 6/19 at 9 a.m.
Thank you, Judge. Next one is John Root. He is present and approaching. He's before the court on 21 CF 3104. Judge, long story short, we've been attempting to get him into some diversion programs, not for the purposes of diversion, but mental health courts and drug courts. At this point, we're also exploring the possibility of Phoenix House as a way of resolving these cases. And so we would ask for one last continuance to get him screened for Phoenix House.
State.
Your Honor, that's fine with the state.
Okay, the court will continue this to the next cycle, 8/14 at 9 a.m.
Yes, sir. The next one, Judge, is Angelica Starkweather. There's a waiver of appearance on file in these cases, 23 CF 19, 23 CF 533, 23 CF 587. Judge, she also has a new case that's already set for August 14th. If I could ask that these cases be continued to that date. She's actually in an inpatient treatment program, Calm House.
She is now?
Yes, sir. She's been in since her release. In by all accounts, she's doing well. And so I'd ask to set this for August the 14th.
State? Okay. Continue to the 14th?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. The court will continue this to next cycle, August 14th at 9 a.m.
The last one I have, Judge, is Travis Wingo. He's present and approaching. Judge, this is the first time up for me on his case. I need to go over discovery with him, and I ask for a one-cycle continuance.
This is the first time up, so the court will grant continuance to 8/14, August 14th at 9 a.m. So just stay in good contact with him, okay?
Judge, can I recall two cases?
Yeah, you got a couple cases, that's what I was going to ask.
Vera Carroll, number 114 on the docket. She is 23 CF 299. Judge, I reached out to my assistant because it was my understanding that there might be a waiver of appearance. I don't see that there has been one filed, but I recall writing one for her. If I can leave her set for docket day to just get status on this. We did reach out to her, we weren't able to get in contact with her, but I do have a memory of a waiver of appearance in this case.
Based upon that, the court will grant your continuance until docket day 6/19, and hopefully figure out kind of where we're going at that point.
And the next one, Judge Jonathan Cook, he's not present. He's been present every other court date as well as his misdemeanor court dates, which he just had a misdemeanor court with me last week. It had been my intent to actually leave this up for clear trial. I spoke with Ms. Sharpless about it, but he's not present this morning, Judge. If the court would permit me to leave this set for docket day just to find out where he's been in contact with me throughout, Judge. I don't have an explanation for why he's not present this morning.
As long as it's a plea or trial, I'm okay with it. So we'll get some resolution, we'll move it.
That's fine.
If he doesn't want to accept. And plea will stay open until then, I'm assuming.
Correct, Judge.
Okay. We'll come back on docket day 6/19 at 9 a.m.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge. That's all I have this morning, I believe.
Thank you very much.
More Bonnie Gray.
I think he's an inmate.
Yeah. I don't have really.
I noticed him on benchmark as well, but I thought he would have been moved over to the 14th. He's an inmate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hart. Okay. Mr. Gates.
Yes, Your Honor, if I can take one out of order, Crystal Klosterman, it's number 148 on my docket, Your Honor.
What's the name again?
Crystal Klosterman. I have it as 148 on my docket, Your Honor.
And we're a little bit.
I waited to the last second to print my docket, Your Honor, so.
Yeah, unfortunately, mine is several.
That's with a
days
K,
old.
Klosterman, K.
I'm sorry?
It's with a K.
Oh, the K. That's fine.
Yes, Your Honor, it's KLOST.
I was looking at C. Got it. Crystal Klosterman, thank you.
Yes, Your Honor, we are going to be entering a plea, if I may approach, Your Honor.
You may.
It would be a plea to misdemeanor, so there'll be no score sheet. And this, of course, we have, JC has a card.
Is this a misdemeanor plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. You want to announce or just hand it?
I will announce it, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Ms. Klosterman is going to be entering a plea to the lesser included offense in count 1 of disorderly conduct, count 2 as charged. It's going to be withhold adjudication. Count 1, secondary misdemeanor, should be placed on 6 months of probation concurrent. Count 2 would be 11 months, 29 days of probation concurrent. Probation will be done through JCS, Judicial Correctional Services. There will be a $50 cost of prosecution, $270 in court costs, $150 offender fee, no violent contact with Ms. Joy Robbins, a substance abuse evaluation within 60 days, any record and treatment in 90 days, random year analysis, weekly AA/NA meetings for determine her supervision, and then a letter of apology to Deputy Sheriff Dylan Gentry, Your Honor.
That's correct. Ms. Klosterman, would you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the information you're about to provide this court is the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
So you heard your attorney state the terms of the plea agreement, correct? And I see that you have signed the plea and sentencing agreement. Have you read this plea agreement closely?
Yes, sir, I have.
And you've gone over it in detail with your attorney to make sure you have all your legal questions answered?
Yes, sir.
Accordingly, you're waiving a number of legal rights that are contained in this agreement. The main one is the right to go to a trial and have the state prove their case beyond reasonable doubt. Do you believe it is in your best interest to waive all those valuable rights in order to resolve this in a final manner today?
Yes, sir.
And you have had all your legal questions answered?
Yes, sir.
And nobody's threatened or coerced you to get you to enter into the plea?
Yes, sir.
Based upon that testimony, the court will accept your plea. We will withhold adjudication. Count 1, 6 months probation. Count 2, 11/29. There'll be no violent contact with Ms. Joy Robbins, substance abuse evaluation, and the other things that are contained in this plea agreement. Do you have any questions concerning this?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Thank you.
You do have 30 days to appeal this sentence.
Your Honor, from Madam Clerk, the statute for the disorderly conduct is 87703.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll let Mr. Medina handle one of these.
Yes, Your Honor, could I do James Lynn Dubiak out of order, Dubiak?
Okay.
Do I need to provide the docket number, Your Honor?
Yeah, let me just get it here and then I'll, yes, you done.
I don't have the docket number.
I've got it. James Lynn Dubiak is 22 CF 2477.
Your Honor, James Lynn Dubiak is before the court in 22 CF 2477 with Steve Medina. He signed a plea and sentence agreement a week or so ago, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he's going to be doing 6 months jail. He has a serious medical issue that caused him to go to the hospital this morning. He's asking, rather than going back right now, could he report with his wife driving him with his medication to the jail, report by 5 p.m. today. That would be the only change from the agreement. May I approach with the agreement, Your Honor?
Stay okay with that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I do believe you need a score sheet, Ms. Sherman. And his wife, for the record, what is your name?
Vina.
Last name? Dubiak. So Vina Dubiak would be driving him to get to the jail in Crestview by 5 p.m. today.
The main thing is make sure you get there before 5.
Yes, Your Honor. Do I need to add the 5 p.m. report, or we'll just have it on the record?
I think just having it on.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
Would you go ahead and announce?
Yes, Your Honor. Under this agreement, count 1 and count 2 would both be adjudicated guilty as charged. There would be 6 months concurrent Okaloosa County Jail with credit for all time served, 515 court costs, 150 public defender fees, 12 months to pay outstanding monetary obligations upon release.
Very good. Mr. Dubiak, would you raise your right hand, sir? Do you swear or affirm the information you're about to provide this court is the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Dubiak, you heard your attorney state the terms of your plea agreement, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I see that you have signed the written plea and sentencing agreement that contains those same terms. Have you had a chance, I see you signed it, so have you had a chance to review this plea agreement closely?
Yes, sir.
Have you gone over it in detail with your attorney, make sure you had all your legal questions answered?
Yes, sir.
You understand that by entering this will be a final resolution in your case here today.
Yes, sir.
And so you're waiving the right to go to a final hearing, a trial, confront witnesses, all those rights that you have. You think it's in your best interest to do that?
Yes, sir.
Nobody threatened to coerce you to get you into this?
No, sir.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
I apologize, Your Honor. I just wanted to show him his score sheet, and I'll approach with the score.
And Your Honor, I do apologize for the handwritten score sheet, but I'd rather turn one in today and not forget about it.
I'd rather you turn it in today too.
May I approach?
As long as you can assure me that your handwriting is legible.
I do try to.
Yeah, it's close. So with that, the court will accept your plea agreement, Mr. Dubiak, and the court will adjudicate you guilty as charged, sentence you to 6 months in the county jail for each of the 2 charges. You will get credit for time served. They will be served concurrently, so they'll be served at the same time. You've got 12 months to pay the court costs or it'll go to a legal. Okay? And the public defender fee. Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, good luck.
I think he has to be printed in. It's adjudication of guilt on a 3rd-degree felony and a resisting without violence.
Yes, sure, I can take some more of mine. I know that Mr. Medina's got an interpreter here, but they're working on some kinks on that. I'll start at the top, Your Honor. Tavia Foreman, F-O-R-E, case number 23 CF 117.
What about Fleming?
I have a waiver that will be filed later today, Your Honor. You know, this is Ms. Foreman before the court. The state and I have discussed an amended offer in her case. How long does the state need for this one?
So later ballots.
Yeah.
So later negotiation.
Okay. You want to come back next week?
Mr. Days. You want to set it for now?
Your Honor, can we get a date in July to bring this in? I'd love to, for play to continue, but Ms. Foreman's got surgery next week
Okay.
on Monday.
So, you want to do it July 11th? What do we have now in the morning? We still have a pretty reasonable doc in the morning, don't we?
Yeah, Tuesday.
July 11th? I hope we have more than that, because I think we scheduled more than that this morning. Maybe they're not on there yet.
We try not to go to the is that
No, I know, but we've had a half dozen we've scheduled that day, this morning. I'm just wondering,
They're just not.
they're not yet.
She's
Okay.
probably with them.
That's fine, okay. So I just wanted to make sure we didn't lose them. July 11th will be fine. Does that work for the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
We'll come back, we'll continue this to July 11th without subpoenas in the morning, 9 a.m.
Thank you.
And this is for a plea?
For a
Yes.
plea. Thank you, ma'am. I should have thought of that. Just wasn't logged into the system.
Your Honor, next I've got is going to be 6G, that's GEE.
That pronounced G or E? G. G? Okay.
G. We have a plea agreement to be filed in Ms. G's case, Your Honor. If I may approach.
You may. Thank you. You announce the plea.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. G will be entering a plea no contest to the lesser included offense of possession of paraphernalia. It'll be a withhold of adjudication, 11 months, 29 days of probation. We're going to waive the cost of supervision, assess the standard court cost, KD fee, it's required to do a substance abuse evaluation within 30 days, any recommended treatment within 60 days, and random urinalysis.
Ms. G, would you please raise your right hand? You swear or affirm the information you're about to provide this court is the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, you heard your attorney state the terms of your plea agreement.
Yes, sir.
And I see that same terms are contained in your plea, the written plea agreement that you have signed. Have you read this plea and sentencing agreement closely?
Yes, sir.
And have you gone over it in detail with your attorney, make sure you had all your questions answered?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that by entering this, you're waiving the right to go to a trial. This will be a final resolution of your case.
Yes, sir.
You believe it's in your best interest to enter into this? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Nobody threatened or coerced you to get you to enter into this plea? Nobody threatened or coerced you to get you to enter into this? Oh. Stated agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Based upon that testimony, the court will accept your plea to the lesser included charge of possession of paraphernalia. There will be a withhold of adjudication. Court will sentence you to 11 months, 29 days probation. There'll be fees and costs, and importantly, during the term of the probation, you must, actually within 30 days, get a substance abuse evaluation and follow up to start any recommended treatment within 60. Your random UAs, that's important. Okay, that would be that's a condition of your probation. If you don't do that, they'll violate. Okay, so you got to go and jump on that quick. Any other questions? Thank you very much. And we don't need a score sheet because it's mixed with them.
No, Your Honor. Did you say random urinary analysis?
I did.
Thank you.
Your Honor, next is going to be Kenneth Gilman. Your Honor, this is Mr. Gilman before the court. It is an older case, but we've been trying to get the restitution figured out here. At one point it was 700, and then at another point it was 3,000. After speaking with Mr. Losco, it's back to the 700 in restitution. And the agreement is if Mr. Gilman can have that paid prior to court on August the 14th, the state will offer him a misdemeanor. So if we can continue Mr. Gilman's case, and then I think we'll need to put the restitution amount and payee on the record as well, Your Honor.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and do that. The court will continue this to 8:14 in the morning at 9 a.m.
And I'm looking, I have Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and then Matthew Mitchell.
Hold on a second.
Yes, sir.
At 2513 South Ferndon Boulevard,
Yes, sir.
Crestview, Florida, 32536.
Okay, and the amount?
I'm going to get that to Madam Clerk.
$743.83.
740.
$743 and then 83 cents.
And just to let you know, there's going to be a $3.50 fee. And I'll go ahead and put it in there.
Okay, very good. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Next I've got is
What was the date on that?
We're coming back on our regular pretrial on 8/14 and 9.
Thank you.
Clayton Glover, Your Honor. Your Honor, this is Mr. Glover before the court. The state and I have been discussing potential options with Mr. Glover. Mr. Glover's informed me he's checked into an inpatient rehab, and the state would like to verify that. If we could continue him to the August 14th date, and then if we get a resolve, we'll move him up before then, Your Honor.
If he's in an inpatient, would he be there? How would the police work?
Yes, Your Honor, it's a 6-month program. He started last week. We're working on getting confirmation to the statement. So I said my anticipation is if we get it confirmed and the state makes the offer, then we can move him up. I just don't want to load the docket up if we don't want to.
Okay, so we'll continue this date 14 and 9 a.m. Stay in good contact with your attorney, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next I've got is going to be Nicholas Goodmillion. And this is Mr. Goodmillion before the court. We have a plea agreement to be filed in this case, if I may approach.
Amen.
Thank you.
Would you please announce the plea agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Goodman will be entering a plea of no contest to the lesser included offense of improper display of a firearm, Florida Statute 790.10, be withhold of adjudication in count 2, placed on 11 months, 29 days of probation, waive the cost of supervision, 270 court costs, 150 public defender fee, 24 hours of community service work, which Mr. Goodman has asked the court will allow him to buy that out. The firearm that was received will be returned to his uncle, Sam Butler, upon proof of ownership and proper identification. State will dismiss count 1 in exchange for plea to count 2, and I'll be filing the motion order later this afternoon on that firearm, Your Honor.
Okay. Stay in agreement?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And is that lesser included, is that still felony, yes?
No, Your Honor, it's a misdemeanor.
It's a misdemeanor? Okay, very good. Mr. Goodmillion, would you raise your right hand, sir? Do you swear or affirm the information you're about to provide this court is the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
So you heard your attorney state the terms of the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
And I see those same terms are contained in the written plea and sentencing agreement that you have signed. Have you read this plea agreement very closely?
Yes, sir.
And have you gone over it in detail with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
You understand that in addition to all these terms, you're waiving the right to go to a trial, and this will be a final adjudication of your case. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You do understand that, well, there's some other things that are contained in there. The main thing is that you were waiving the right to go to a trial. And you do understand, let's see, you've got possession of a controlled substance is being null processed by the state
That's correct, Your Honor.
in agreement with the lesser included improper display of a firearm. There's got to follow the instruction with regards to the firearm. The fees and costs and the community service hours are contained as they are stated in the plea agreement. You do have 30 days to appeal this sentence. Just FYI. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
very much.
And I think Mr. Green is ready for the interpreter.
Yes, Your Honor.
May I call Tomas Bello, B-E-L-L-O, with Madam Interpreter. I don't know if the court would need to swear this. Do you have any in this courtroom today?
I have
Madam Clerk, would you please swear the interpreter?
Do you agree to accurately interpret from Spanish into English and English into Spanish the matter brought before the court, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Your Honor, Ms. Steve Medina with Mr. Tomas Bello in 22 CF 912. Your Honor, we have reached a plea and sentence agreement in Mr. Bello's case. He has 4 different counts under this agreement. I'll approach with the agreement, and I forgot about a copy on my phone, Your Honor. Thank you.
Take your time announcing the plea so that the interpreter can get that. Go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. And also, I apologize to probation if it will take careful notes as I go through the changes. Your Honor, the basic agreement is intact as it was typed up prior to right now, but there will be an adjudication of guilt, and that's as charged on the 4 counts. He will be doing 4 years concurrent probation, and he will be having $615 in court costs and $150 in public defender fees. And then after that, there are several different detailed conditions that I need to state. There's anti-theft course. There's no drugs during supervision and random urinalysis. Court costs that I've already stated. Maintain gainful employment or complete 2 applications a week. And no trespass at the Texaco. And Ms. Sharpless, does the state have handy, that's the Texaco in, I know Okaloosa County, but I just wanted to make sure.
It's the Texaco on Racetrack Road. It's 306 Racetrack Road.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's where we're going.
And Your Honor, also 50 hours community service. And Your Honor, I know that he lives in Orange County, Florida. He's already doing probation. My understanding is he's doing 4 years probation on a Brevard County sentence. And he will be meeting with probation today here in Fort Walton Beach. And he will be providing proof of his residency in Orange County, Florida. And he's hoping that he can just have 1 probation officer. But he'll have to show all that proof to probation here, Your Honor.
The state is in agreement.
The state is in agreement, Your Honor, and I don't have a score sheet printed out, but when I get a break, I will print it out and bring it to the court. And if it meets Mr. Medina's approval, I'll give it to the court.
And if all aware, just want to make sure that is it a downward departure?
It is not. He scores 39 total sentence points.
Yes, and he has been previously provided his score sheet, Your Honor.
Very good.
We don't have any questions.
Mr. Bello, would you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the information you are about to provide this court is the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
So, put your hand down. So, Mr. Bello, I just need to ask you some questions to make sure you understand what the plea agreement is and that you're entering it voluntarily. So, you heard your interpreter explain to you or interpret your attorney's explanation of the plea agreement. And I see that same plea agreement is contained in the written plea agreement that you signed, correct?
Yes.
And have you been able to read or have this agreement explained to you in detail?
Yes.
And you've been able to have your attorney answer any questions you might have regarding this agreement?
Yes.
And you understand that in addition to the terms that your attorney just laid out and that are contained in here, you're waiving the right to go to a trial by doing this plea agreement. This will be a final resolution of your case. You understand that?
Yes.
And you believe this in your best interest?
Yes.
And nobody coerced you to get you to enter into this plea?
No.
Do you have any further questions regarding this plea?
No.
Your Honor, I am so sorry.
That's right.
I just wanted the court to be aware, my understanding is that you are a naturalized U.S. citizen, Cuban born. Is that correct?
No, I am a legal resident of the United States, and I was born in Cuba.
Okay. In that situation, and I don't know whether your attorney, whether you've discussed it with you, but the entering of this plea agreement could impact your immigration status. Do you know that? And
Yes.
you're still wanting to proceed forward with this?
Yes.
Very good. So based upon that, thank you for reminding me of that.
I apologize for interrupting.
No,
thank you.
That's important to have that discussion.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Bello, the court will accept your plea agreement, and the court will sentence you to 4 years of probation on each of the 4 charges. They'll all be served at the same time, and there'll be an adjudication of guilt and court costs that are contained in here. There are some other terms that you went over that are contained in this, the anti-theft course, gainful employment, no trespass at the Texaco station, 50 hours of community service. You understand all that? Any
Yes, I
questions?
understand.
Any questions?
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bill. Your Honor, my other Spanish-speaking client is Brian A. Contreras Torres. Mr. Contreras Torres is 23 CF 448. I think it's in the docket under the letter C.
I got it.
Your Honor, at this time,
Did you announce the case number?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. 23 CF 448. Your Honor, at this time, I'm asking for a one-cycle continuance. I'm going to be meeting with him. The state is open to a withhold of adjudication. The mother, alleged victim, has requested that she wanted to drop charges, but because he is my understanding is a Colombian citizen, he needs to meet with his immigration lawyer, and so I'm going to be giving him some information. So we can consider his options and decide what's in his best interest by next cycle, Your Honor.
The court will grant the request for a continuance to the next cycle. We'll come back on August 14th at 9 a.m. Just stay in good contact with your attorney over the next couple of months and figure out where we're going.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Your Honor, that is all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Have-
sir.
Have a nice day.
You do the same.
Your Honor, next I'm going to call is going to be Rashawn Hampton.
I'm sorry, last name again?
Hampton.
Hampton.
His last name?
Very good.
Your Honor, since the last court, Mr. Hampton had not done the PD application. I did have him fill that out and drop it off earlier. So technically, I guess I'm tentatively appointed until that application comes through. If we can continue with Mr. Hampton's cases, our case, I need to meet with him, go over the discovery. The state, I thought maybe adding the DUI to this that was a misdemeanor, and I'm going to make sure we figure out the status of all that as we move forward.
This is the first cycle, it's just a recent filing, so the court will accept your request to continue until 8/14 at 9 a.m. Are you okay with that, right?
Yes, Your Honor. Next I've got is Fabiano Ibarra Piso.
Spell that last name.
Ibarra.
Very good.
Your Honor, we had a deposition of the victim, and I think that's going to help resolve the case. If we can leave Mr. Ibarra Piso for the Monday as a plea continue.
And this is, did you announce the case number?
23 CF 104.
Very good. We'll continue this for a docket day for hopefully a plea.
Hopefully dismissal, Your Honor.
Plea or resolution?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good. Okay.
Next I've got is Keandrick Jones. This is Mr. Jones before the court. He and I did discuss the potential plea option in this case. He's asked me to schedule depositions on the alleged victims in this case. If I could continue this case pending those depositions.
So you want to go to the next slide?
Yes, Your Honor.
State okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will continue this matter until 8/14, the next cycle at 9 a.m.
And next I've got is Terrance King.
That's Dramus King?
Yes, Your Honor. Last name is King.
You got two Kings.
We do, Your Honor. And I'm realizing I skipped a gentleman, so I'll have to get back to him in a second. Your Honor, this is Mr. King. He is a recent appointment. I would like to continue the case for him and I to meet and go over the discovery. It is a probation offer with community control, but I'd like to go over that in more detail with him.
Do you have, give me a case number?
23 CF 460.
Very good. So you want to continue for a full cycle or come back on?
If we can continue it for a full cycle, Your Honor.
This is the first time up, so we'll continue until 8/14 at 9 a.m.
Next I've got, I'm going back, because I skipped into Cedric Hill. Cedric Hill. This is Mr. Hills before the court. We do have a plea agreement to be filed in his case.
This is 23 CF 600.
Yes, Your Honor. When I was reviewing the score sheet with Mr. Hills, we have no objection to it as scored. It shows 6.7 points.
Very good. Thank you. Did you announce the plea?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Hills will be entering a plea no contest as charged. Will be adjudicated guilty in both counts. Count 1, which is the felony count, sentenced to 18 months of probation concurrent. Count 2, 11 months, 29 days of probation concurrent. We're asked the court to waive his supervision fee. Says $515 in court costs, $150 public defender fee. Required to do a substance abuse evaluation. I have of release, Your Honor, so it's technically not a release. He's out of custody. And any recommended treatment within 60 days. Random urinalysis, 50 hours of community service work, $500 fine, DUI school, victim impact panel, 10-day vehicle impound, which he can waive if he provides proof he doesn't own the vehicle, and then a 6 months driver's license revocation.
state in agreement?
We are.
Mr. Hills, would you raise your right hand, sir? Do you swear or affirm the information you're about to provide this court is the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you heard your attorney state the terms of your plea agreement. I see those same terms are contained in the written plea agreement that you have, let me make sure, have signed. So my first question, have you read this plea sentencing agreement closely?
Yes, sir.
And have you gone over it in detail with your attorney to make sure you had all your legal questions answered?
Yes.
And you understand by entering into this plea, importantly, you're waiving a number of valuable legal rights.
Yes, sir.
Most important one is the right to go to a trial and force the state to prove their case. You're waiving that because you believe this final adjudication is in your best interest?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Nobody threatened or coerced you to get you to enter into this?
No.
Okay. Based upon that testimony, the court will accept your plea. There'll be an adjudication of guilt as to both counts. Count 1, be sentenced to 18 months of probation. Count 2, 11 months, 29 days probation. Those will be served concurrently at the same time. The fees and costs are included. Substance abuse evaluation within 30 days and any recommended treatment within 60. Random UAs, community service, fine, DUI school, etc. The other things that are contained in this written agreement. Anything else, any other questions that you have?
No, sir.
Make sure and stay in good contact with your probation. Thank you very much.
Your next I've got is Michael King. Your Honor, we're going to leave Mr. King for a plea or continue for Monday. My anticipation is that we'll have a plea agreement ready to go by then.
Very good. Come back on docket day on the 19th of June at 9 a.m.
Your next I've got is Beyonce Knight. Your Honor, this is Mr. Knight before the court. We've discussed with the state attorney some issues with the victim in this case. Given that there are other charges not involving the victim, we'd ask the court to let us continue the case so that we can go ahead and schedule depositions.
State.
That would be fine with this day here.
This is case number 23 CF 704.
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will grant the motion or the request to continue 8/14 at 9 a.m. and stay in good contact with your attorney, okay?
And the last one I have as president this morning, Your Honor, is going to be Shayna Colzar.
Shane Colzar.
Yes, Your Honor, that's case number 23 CF 873. If I may approach, Your Honor, with a plea agreement. It'll be to a lesser included offense.
You announce the plea.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Colzar will be entering a plea no contest to a lesser included offense of possession of paraphernalia to be a withhold of adjudication based on 11 months, 29 days of probation through JCS. Probation will be either by recording or online. $50 a month cost of supervision, $270 court cost, $150 public defender fee, a substance abuse evaluation within 60 days, and erecting the treatment within 120 days, and random urinalysis.
State in agreement.
We are your.
Ms. Colzar, would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the information you're about to provide this court is the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? So you heard your attorney state the terms of your plea agreement. Terms of your plea agreement. And I also see those same terms are contained in your plea and sentencing agreement. So my first question to you is, one, have you read this plea and sentencing agreement closely? And you've gone over it in detail with your attorney to make sure you had all your legal questions answered.
Yes, sir.
You understand, importantly, by entering this, you're waiving some valuable legal rights. The big one is the right to go to a trial. Force the state to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. You're waiving that in order to have a final resolution of your case today. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
You believe it's in your best interest to do so?
Yes, sir.
Nobody threatened or forced you to get you to enter into this plea? Based upon that testimony, the court will accept your plea to a lesser included plea on possession of paraphernalia charge. And the defendant will be sentenced to 11 months, 29 days probation through JCS. Probation will be reported either by phone or online. Got the court costs and cost of supervision contained in the agreement. And importantly, the substance abuse evaluation in 60 days. Recommended treatment starting 120. Okay, that's a condition, and random UAs as well. This is a condition of probation. So you need to get on this quickly, because if you don't do this, you can be violated, and that could end up in incarceration. So take this very seriously, stay in good contact with your probation officer, and try and move on these requirements as soon as possible. Okay? Any questions? Thank you very much. 30 days to appeal.
Your Honor, Ms. Colzar's plea reminded me, in Crystal Klosterman, 23 CF 909, we put her on JCS. That was also intended to be online or phone probation as well.
That's fine.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll leave the floor to Mr. Medina.
Mr. Medina.
Yes, Judge, I was checking on one detail on one of my clients, but we've got plenty to proceed on.
Okay.
If I could get Jasmine Barreto. Ms. Barreto is approaching with a plea agreement, Your Honor. Jasmine Y. Barreto, Barreto, 23 CF 490.
Okay.
Your Honor, we have a agreement for a lesser included offense misdemeanor resolution with Judicial Corrections Services to provide probation supervision. May I approach with the agreement, Your Honor? Deputy, do you have a copy of the JCS address so she knows where to go? She's, Your Honor, under this agreement, sorry, Your Honor, I'm pulling it up on my phone. Your Honor, she will be adjudicated guilty to a lesser included offense, second-degree misdemeanor, no valid driver's license. The statutory references are given in a parentheses. 6 months probation, 270 court costs, 150 public defender fees, show proof of valid driver's license or eligibility, supervision by JCS.
State.
That is the state's agreement, Your Honor.
Ms. Barreto, would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the information you're about to provide this court is the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
So you heard your attorney state the terms of your plea agreement.
Yes, sir.
And those same terms are contained in the written plea agreement that you have signed. So my first question is, did you read this plea agreement closely?
Yes, sir.
And have you gone over it with your attorney? Make sure you have all your legal questions answered.
Yes, sir.
And you understand that this is a final resolution of your case?
I do.
And that you're waiving the right to go to a trial by entering into this plea agreement here, please?
Yes, sir.
You believe that's in your best interest?
I sure do.
Very good. Based upon that testimony, the court will accept your plea agreement. The court will sentence you. There will be adjudication of guilt. And will sentence you to 6 months probation on the lesser included charge of a misdemeanor, no valid driver's license. There'll be the court costs and fees that are contained in here. You must show proof of a valid ID or valid driver's license or eligibility. And there will be supervision by JCS allowed. Okay? Any questions?
No, sir.
I just need to be clear on those costs of 300. It's a criminal traffic.
Okay, Your Honor, may we change that to
Sure.
300?
Please, thank you.
Thank you.
Each side of the statute. Ma'am?
Okay, Your Honor, she's 7 months pregnant. Did she have to be printed?
No.
Okay,
Okay,
leave.
go. Thank you.
Thank you. Your Honor, I'm just changing 300 to prevent any embarrassment. I apologize. Thank you. Thank you.
Is this standing rule, any pregnant prospective mothers can get bumped to the front of these dockets?
Thank you, Your Honor. I will certainly do that. Yes. Next, Your Honor, is Mr. Robert Blackerby. Your Honor, Mr. Blackerby is 23 CF 819. And we have a plea and sentence agreement. Ms. Sharpless, I will need a score sheet for Mr. Blackerby. May I approach, Your Honor? Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, under the terms of this agreement, Mr. Blackerby is going to be adjudicated guilty as charged. It will be for credit for time served. There will be $615 in court costs, $150 public defender fees.
I'm sorry, but
Blackerby, yeah.
So the adjudication of guilt is as charged?
Yes, Your Honor, as charged.
Very good. Mr. Blackerby, would you raise your right hand, sir? Do you swear or affirm the information you're about to provide this court is the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? So you heard your attorney state the terms of your plea agreement. And that's contained in the written plea agreement that you have, make sure, that you've signed. So have you read this closely? And you've gone over it in detail with your attorney? And you do understand that by entering into this, this will be a final adjudication of your case, you're waiving the right to go to a trial, and then there'll be an adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, and fees and costs. Do you understand that? Yes, sir. Okay. Very good. Based upon that testimony, the court will accept your plea. The court will, again, sentence you to an adjudication of guilt and credit for time served, court costs, and PD fees. And are those payable?
Your Honor, could we have 6 months to pay court costs before they go to collection?
Stay okay with that? 6
That
months?
is fine, Your Honor.
180 days to pay or go to a lien?
And Your Honor, I am gonna owe the court a score sheet, but again, I'm printing it right now, and if it meets Mr. Medina's approval, I will give it to the court after a break or at the end.
Okay.
And his total sentence points are 20 points. This is not a downward departure. He does not score more than 44 points.
Your Honor, I think you might need to be printed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, you have 30 days. Your Honor, just, did the court want to announce the 30 days?
Yes. Mr. Blackerby, you have 30 days to appeal this sentence if you wish. Thank you.
Your Honor, next is Gregory George Brenton Brooks. Mr. Brooks is approaching in 22 CF 3010. He is going to be entering a misdemeanor plea agreement with JCS supervision. And if I may approach with the agreement signed by all parties.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Got it.
My phone.
Would you please?
Yes, sir.
announce the-
Under this agreement, there will be adjudication of guilt to lesser included offense, misdemeanor, no valid driver's license, second-degree misdemeanor. Statutory references are given, and that's on count 1. And then the count 2 as charged, which was a attaching improper tag, second-degree misdemeanor as charged. So it'll be 6 months concurrent probation. I can tell there's an error on those court costs. I need to change it to 270 like the other person to 300. May I approach Judge? I'm sorry for that error. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Did they bump all the fees with the legislation?
I think I just hadn't done those recently, Your Honor. 150 PD fees, show proof of valid driver's license or eligibility, supervision by JCS. And does, Deputy By, do you have a? Oh, you already got it, thank you. I'm sorry, Judge.
Mr. Brooks, would you please raise your right hand, sir? Do you swear or affirm the information you're about to provide this court is the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
So you heard your attorney state the terms of your plea agreement. I see those same terms are contained in the written plea agreement that you signed. So the first question is, did you read the plea and sentencing agreement closely?
Yes, sir.
And did you go over it in detail with your attorney, make sure you had all your legal questions answered?
Yes, sir.
You understand that by entering into this will be a final resolution of your case, waive the right to go to a trial. You believe that's in your best interest, and you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And did anybody threaten or coerce you or promise you anything other than what's contained in the plea agreement?
No, sir.
Based upon that testimony, the court will accept your plea. There'll be an adjudication of guilt, and the court will sentence you to 6 months probation on the lesser included misdemeanor no valid driver's license, and then as charged is to count 2. There'll be 6 months probation for each of those charges. They'll be served concurrent at the same time, so they're not stacked on top of one another. You've got the court costs and fees, show proof of valid driver's license or eligibility, and you may get, or supervision will be by JCS. Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
Your Honor, next is Tammy Dixon. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Dixon will be back in a moment if I can prevent her. Next is Jalen Driver.
Can you spell that last name?
I'm sorry, Driver is D-R-I-V-E-R. Jalen K. Driver, 23 CF 499.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'm asking for a full cycle continuance. Mr. Driver lives in Tennessee. He's 20 years old, and it appears that he has only maybe one prior misdemeanor. I certainly want to be able to go over his discovery with him, and if we could just have a full cycle continuance, we'll see if anything needs to be done as far as depositions during that interim.
Very good. We'll continue this to 8/14, August 14th at 9 a.m. It's the first continuance.
Your Honor, he is from Tennessee. It's possible if we can't get the case worked out by the next pretrial that we'll do a waiver, but I do think it's important for him to be in contact with me so we can see what needs to be done.
Very important. So
Thank you.
stay in good contact and we'll get this resolved one way or another.
Thank you. Your Honor, next is Mr. Kendall Eccles. Mr. Eccles may be on the unrepresented.
No, I got it.
Okay. Because my understanding is that he did need the public defender approved to represent him. But we may have dealt with that last time he was in court. I can't remember, but I did want to make sure the public defender was authorized to represent him because of his. I went over the eligibility, and I believe that he is eligible. Does Madam Clerk have us as
Yes, sir.
He's got the PD, okay.
I have it as being appointed.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I'm asking to have Mr. Mr. Eccles return on docket day for a plea or continue. I will represent to the court that I think we've got the basic framework for a PTI agreement with a plea. Ms. Sharpless is going to be providing the details to me so I can get it to him, and hopefully we can work that out into docket day.
Very good. State okay?
Yes, Your Honor, that's accurate. And I will have the PTI for Mr. Medina prior to docket day.
Very good. So the court will continue this to docket day next week, 1 week from today, 9 a.m. Hopefully we get some resolution.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. We get I'm sorry?
Yeah, okay, I'll get back to you. Your Honor, next is Mr. Alexander Robert Etheridge. Mr. Etheridge. Your Honor, Alexander Robert Etheridge is before the court in 22 CF 1899, which was a PTI recall, and 23 CF 574. I had discussed with Assistant State Attorney Sharpless whether there would be any willingness on the state's part to consider amending the PTI. The second case, which is the 23 CF 574, occurred within a very short period of time of the PTI agreement and with some, I think, special facts. But I think at this point in time, we need to do a full cycle continuance so we can decide what's in his best interest. And I'll be considering if there are any depositions needed in the 23 CF 574.
the recent case is relatively new, so state.
Yes, that's my understanding, and I agree with his assessment of where the case should go now.
Very good. We'll continue this till 8:14 at 9 a.m. Next site.
So be in touch. Okay. Thanks, sir. All right. Next is Miss Mary Nell Mason. Your Honor, Steve Medina with Mary Nell Mason and 21 CF 2586. At this time, I'm asking for a one cycle continuance. I had deposition set of the canine officer. He did not appear in person. We reached him by phone, and he was willing to do the deposition by phone, but I was not willing to do it by phone, so we need to have him in our office so we can review canine video. I'm asking for that to be continued.
Your Honor, I'm asking for him to be not my attorney anymore. I don't have confidence
You
in
need to
him.
file. You need to file
Okay.
else in here.
And I would get a motion to dismiss.
Go ahead and file. You got to file a motion. You can't make it oral.
I will.
File a motion. Whatever motion you want to file, you're welcome to. We'll
Thank
consider
you.
it. Okay. So the state. I mean, normally I would have some reluctance. This has been hanging around for a long time, but
Your Honor,
it wasn't the defense's.
Oh, so this is Mr.
Mr. Lawson.
Yeah.
Your Honor, you're asking for the state's position. If the defense feels that it needs that continuance, the state's not going to be opposed to it, especially if it is for the purpose of conducting depositions that are necessary to developing a defense. I don't want to rush them.
For the record,
Well, I actually do want to rush him. It's been a long time, but in this situation, they basically have said they were ready to go to a trial, a deposition, and one of the state's witnesses basically didn't agree that we didn't show up, so that's why I'm doing it, and that's fine. It's not the end of the world, but we do want to try and move them. And
Your Honor, I've only had the case for maybe a few months. We inherited it. There were questions about whether she was going to be eligible. The court determined she would be eligible, so I'm going forward.
No, I understand.
The best I can.
No, that's fine. And, I get these things, I got a date of the arrest, and a lot of times I don't have all the full history of all the representation that's gone on. So you can always inform me. Don't ever take it personal. We're just trying to.
Of course not, Your Honor. I think the PD application was approved on or about December 15, 2022.
Okay, very good. So we'll continue this to 8/14. Ma'am, if you want to file anything, file it, and we'll get to her.
I will. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, there are some others that I'm going to be needing a few minutes to collect thoughts and talk to people.
Do you have any others, or we want to take a short break, Mr. Gates?
Mine are all waivers, Your Honor.
Okay.
Are you ready to go? Your Honor, I have one I could do before the break that is ready.
There's somebody, also a gentleman in the back is waving his hand too.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that would like to do things, but
I'm just letting you know that people are waving at you and stuff. Wait, you're running the show.
Okay. Doing the best I can. Your Honor, I'd like to call up Tammy Sloan Dixon. I called her before, but she was briefly out of the courtroom. She's back. And
Sloan Dixon?
Yes, ma'am. Miss Dixon, D-I-X-O-N.
Okay.
22 CF 3093.
Got it. Thank you.
And I think the state is going to be providing a score sheet, Your Honor. Just going to hand probation a copy. May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Thank you. Your Honor, Tammy Sloan Dixon is before the court in 22 CF 3093. And Your Honor, at this time, Ms. Dixon is going to be entering change of plea to no contest pursuant to a plea and sentence agreement under which there's an adjudication of guilt as charged. She will be doing 24 months drug offender probation. There will be a 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew. She will need to do a substance abuse evaluation, and I put within 60 days, because it's actually substance abuse and mental health. It's dual diagnosis because of that, and the Bridgeway backup. I'm asking for 60 days to get the evaluations done.
I did have a question on that. I know we've had discussion, I know probation can weigh in on this, as far as on the evaluations, when we have mandated mental health and substance abuse. Generally, I've got some direction from you all that it would be better to do the mental health first. Or are they doing it together? Does it matter how we word it?
I don't think it matters, it's just when Bridgeway have an opening.
Well, they've got to have a preference either to do the mental health or the substance abuse first. They don't?
I'm not sure of that.
Your Honor, she has no objection to doing it with the mental health first. She's already.
I'm just trying to do it the best way. Right. We want you, ma'am, we want you to be and give you the best chance to be successful.
Your Honor, she's
I'm not sure which one that is. I'll just leave it as it is. That's fine. Let's Bridgeway. If y'all might want to ask that question, because particularly in the north end, your probation folks up there were very adamant that it be done this way to give them, the best chance to get the proper diagnosis, etc. So we wanted to give them the best chance to succeed. So I just need your guidance, okay?
Yes, sir.
And Your Honor, this is one where the mental health court took an extensive look at Ms. Dixon. I think didn't it evaluate you? Did the mental health court evaluate you? Yeah. But anyway, I think there's probably some proof that could be provided on some of these issues, but in any event, 60 days for the evaluations with any recommended treatment to commence within 90 days. No contact with Eric Miller or trespassing at 208 Newcastle Drive, Fort Walton Beach, Florida, 32547. Provided that the defendant, accompanied by law enforcement, may visit the premises one time to retrieve any of her remaining personal property. 615 court costs, 150 PD fees, waived cost of supervision. Thank you, Your Honor.
Is that summarizing for the state?
Yes, Your Honor, and I did speak to the victim's family. The victim is unfortunately deceased at this time, so I did speak with the victim's family, and everyone was on board for this agreement.
And who would the victim be? Who's that there? Who's Eric Miller?
He's next of kin, Your Honor. My understanding is he's the surviving son.
That's
Is that
correct.
correct?
That's fine.
That's correct, Judge.
Who was Eric Miller? Was he the
Eric
surviving?
Miller is my brother-in-law.
Okay, was he the surviving son of the lady who passed away?
No, my husband's surviving.
Okay, I apologize.
He's the brother-in-law. They still currently live in the house where the victim was living, Your Honor, and that's part of the...
Okay, that's fine. Okay. Ms. Dixon, would you raise your right hand, please? You swear, do you hear all right?
Yes, sorry, yeah.
That's all right. Do you swear or affirm the information you're about to provide this court is the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So did you hear and understand? You can put your hand. Did you hear your attorney state the terms of the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
And I see those same terms are contained in the written plea agreement, right? You've signed that.
Yes.
So have you read this closely?
Yes, sir.
And have you gone over it in detail with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that by entering into this plea agreement, you're waiving the right to go to a trial, and this will be a final adjudication in this case. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
You believe this is in your best interest?
Yes, sir.
Nobody threatened you to get you to enter into this?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Based upon that, the court will adjudicate you as guilty as charged, sentence you to 24 months drug offender probation, with terms of the probation including substance abuse and mental health evaluation within 60 days, any recommended treatment beginning in 90. Importantly, as a condition of this probation, you need to understand there's to be no contact with Eric Miller. You comfortable with that? Even if he tries to contact you, you can't be in contact with him, or you'll violate this probation and you could end up back in trouble. Do you understand? I just want to make sure you understand this clearly. Even if he walks up to you in public, wants to say hi to you, can't do it. Are you clear about that?
Yes, sir. The one thing that I wasn't sure about was this 24-month probation. Is that with early termination if I can?
You always have certain rights to that. It's not automatic, but you certainly have rights to be eligible for that.
Okay.
Certain, you can ask your attorney.
I did advise her that there is eligibility for statutory early termination or administrative probation at the halfway point, assuming 100% compliance and no violations.
Sure. And also, remember the no trespassing. I mean, you can't go around this 208 Newcastle other than you go back. You go back one time. Hopefully, you don't have too much stuff over the other. You got stuff over there still?
I have a whole house full of
This
furniture.
ain't gonna work if you go with law enforcement, Mr. Medina. Just as a practical matter.
I think that she represented to me that her husband is getting out of DOC.
Yeah.
He's the son. I don't know if he has an equal shared interest in that property. This does not affect whatever rights of access he has to go access furniture.
Okay.
So are you jointly owning stuff with your husband?
I'm sorry.
Do you, whatever it is that's at the house, furniture, does your husband own it too?
Yes.
So, Your Honor, the husband is the joint owner of the common marital property, so
So
he
let
can...
me explain. So ma'am, under the terms of this agreement,
Yes, sir.
you have the right, one time, to go back with law enforcement to get some of your personal items. But they're only gonna hang around for 10 minutes, or something like that. They're not gonna stay around for an entire day while you back up a U-Haul trailer and get some of your friends to unload the house. You understand that?
How am I gonna get my furniture?
Man, that's why I'm raising it. I'm telling you, I'm just telling you what's in this agreement. You handed me this agreement, I'm just wanting to make sure you understand it. One way you can do it is to have your husband, when he gets out, he can go get it, but you can't go back to the house. Are you clear about that?
Okay.
I don't want you to get in any trouble.
I don't want to get in no trouble.
Thought this is my stuff over there, I want to go get my furniture. You show up over there, they call the cops, you'll be back in handcuffs. Okay? That's not what we want to happen. We want to be clear. Okay? Are you clear you can't go over there except that one time?
Yeah.
Make sure and talk to your attorney about this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to save you from getting in trouble.
I don't want to be in no trouble.
Okay. Miss Sharp.
Your Honor, I just wanted to make clear for the record, when Mr. Medina and I talked about that provision, I was under the impression that it was like clothes and knickknacks that absolutely belong to her. The state is in no way agreeing for Miss Dixon to go get stuff that might be in dispute for probate or anything like that. So if there's anything that's in dispute, that's not what the state's saying. I thought she was going to get personal belongings that were belonging to her. So I don't know anything about furniture or anything. I have no idea what's tied up and who's who and what's what. But if it belongs to her, I'm agreeing to allow her to go back with law enforcement to get clothes and toothbrushes and whatever might be at the house.
So if you go back there, man, and you go and say, I want to get this item here, and somebody says it's in the house, say, no, that's not yours. You're gonna have to let somebody else deal with it. Just get your personal stuff. Maybe your husband can go over there, you guys can deal. I'm not saying you don't have a right to it. I'm just saying this isn't the way to do it. The way to do it is to have somebody else do it. Okay?
And the way this came up, Your Honor, is that she was telling me when her husband got out of DOC, he needed to go get her stuff. So I tried to write something in there that would not affect his rights and just give her sort of
the only reason I'm going over this is can't tell you how many hundreds, if not thousands of cases I've had in domestic violence injunctions where we've had to deal with this very issue, and it can be real thorny, and I just don't want her to get in any trouble. Okay, so you good? Any questions?
No.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. You gotta go that way. Bring this with you.
Ma'am, thank you. 30 days to appeal it, ma'am.
Your Honor, I know various people
Okay.
want to talk to me, but I do need a recess to assess it.
Well, I need a recess too, to stress it.
I know we're going to have an agreement on Mr. Bush's case, and so, thank you.
We'll reconvene in 10 or 15 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All rise, please. Court's at a 15-minute recess.